On today's episode of Your Path to Publish, I'm going to be addressing a listener submitted question that asks about author resources and how to find legitimate resources for authors to take a look at. The question is fairly simple, but the answer is not so simple. After you listen to it, I would love to know your thoughts and your experience. So send me a DM, tag Juxtabook in your post, or reach out to me via email at info@juxtabook.com. Let's dive in. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. I'll play the listener question in a moment, but what their question got me thinking about was the Olympics. The Olympics just ended, and I'm always fascinated by the amount of preparation that comes down to these few minutes in most events. These athletes have been preparing for years, for most of their lives, and it's incredible the fortitude and the endurance that they have to keep going, even amidst disappointments and challenges. I enjoy watching many of the track and field events, and my heart always goes out to those athletes who are on the line getting ready to run, sprint, and they have a false start. They either receive a yellow card to get another chance, or they immediately are disqualified with a red card that they can contest, but it doesn't seem to really do much. Building up to that moment and not being able to compete in what you've been focused on your entire life seems like it would be devastating and disappointing. But many who have been disqualified for that and other reasons continue to rise up and look forward to their next opportunity and don't give up. So with that, here is the question.
Hey, Zach, thanks for doing this. My name is Jonathan Jordan, and I'm a book coach and ghostwriter. And I was curious about what are a few legit marketing resources that authors should know about? There's a lot of noise in that space, and I know a lot of my clients often feel overwhelmed when they look into marketing and all the different options that are out there. So, fortunately, a lot of times they just kind of shut down and then don't do anything. So, I'd love to know about a few that you would recommend. Thanks.
So my assumption behind this question for many authors and for Jordan and the authors that he worked with is you want a clear path. You want to know exactly how can my book go out there and be successful. And I don't think authors are necessarily looking for a magic bullet because they realize that it's going to take work to do, but they want some clarity and confidence in being able to know how to go out and complete their book and market it so that it finds the right audience and is successful. So ultimately, what I think authors are looking for when they look for resources and those that can help them is that they are really looking for someone that they can trust. As many authors discover, writing the book becomes the easier part of being an author, and marketing the book can be the tougher part. There are places that I like to look at and resources that I'd use when consulting with clients. But really what it comes down to is being able to sift through all the options out there, which will take some work, and understanding which is going to be a good fit for yourself. So here are some ways that I would recommend that you can go through and sift through all of the different resources out there and know which one's going to be a good fit for you as an author. So first, I'll hit on this, and I've hit on it before, but you need to know your audience, but you need to know where they're hanging out. And so when you're doing the marketing, you're trying to decide which channels do I use? Which individuals do I ask to help me? So you need to have in the back of your mind knowing where they hang out. And by the time you hit the point where you're marketing your book, you should have at least an idea of places that you could look or begin looking to know where you can send messages and connect with these individuals. The next item is know your plan. Know what your goals are, know what you want to accomplish with the marketing of your book, And your plan will give you guardrails so that as you begin to reach out to service providers, you'll be able to know what is helpful, what isn't helpful, and what you can say yes or no to based on your budget and the goals that you have set. So when you're reaching out to service providers for marketing, get into the details. Know exactly what is it that they are providing and what work you'll have to do. Is it a do-it-yourself program, such as a course, a checklist? Is it a do-it-with-you program where someone is giving you more hands-on guidance and coaching, but you're still doing the brunt of the work? Or is it a do-it-for-you service like consulting where someone is doing the work for you and writing the emails, writing the social posts, doing the research for you to find the target audience? So when looking at these services, take your time. Learn what the expected outcome is or what the outcome is that you're attempting to do. Look at if it aligns with your goals. Does the outcome and what could be accomplished align with the goals that you have? Do they have a guarantee? A guarantee isn't a bad thing. If they can guarantee that they'll research a certain number of items, number of podcasts, or a number of potential places for your audience, that's probably a strong guarantee. But if they're guaranteeing certain results, like certain number of book sales, I'd be a little weary because they do not have control over that. When someone says, I'll run Amazon or Facebook ads for you and I guarantee 100 sales of your book, that could be great. But who's paying for the advertising fee? Because I can tell you in any advertising, if you have an unlimited budget, you'll be able to get 100 sales, but at what cost? Next, look at the process. How are they going to work with you? How will the communication work? And can they clearly show you the process that you can easily understand or eventually understand what you will go through, what needs to be produced, and exactly what the outcome or deliverable is going to be within that process? If it's vague, it's worth taking a second look at and going deeper into those questions. Oftentimes, authors are starting too late in their marketing process, and I think that's where some of the challenges come in. So this is more of a sidebar recommendation of saying start early. And I know it's tough because you're in the midst of finishing up your book and getting it published and distributed and approved and building your brand and your platform. There's a lot to do, but the earlier you start, the better, because there's less pressure to make decisions on exactly what services and author resources you want to engage with. When looking at resources, ask yourself, does this market know my genre? Does this service provider know my genre? There's nothing wrong with a service that can help anyone and everyone. Maybe they have a strong specialization on finding a target market, but those who are specific and know your target market may know better how to help you because of the experience and access and resources that they have. So that's where you get into bringing in those questions, getting deeper to understand what's their track record in helping authors like you. Now, if they're newer, that doesn't mean they won't be able to help you, but might just have to negotiate some different terms. One thing I've had asked of me is authors are working for me is they've asked for references. So I will send them the names and contact information of the authors that I've worked with, give a heads up to the authors and say, hey, this potential client of mine is going to reach out to you. I don't prep them. I don't say, give me a good review. I just simply say, give this person your honest feedback, because I do not want to have expectations or overinflated expectations and have those that I work with be disappointed in what I can control and what I've provided. So don't be afraid to ask for current and former customer recommendations. And it's easy enough nowadays to see people who have given an endorsement, or if they are showcasing on their website authors they've worked with, reach out to those authors or individuals that have worked with them. Do your due diligence. Now, before I jump into some of the recommended resources that I like, I want to just say I sift through resources by looking at the quality of their content. And I try to produce quality myself, and it gets better and better, hopefully, as I continue to learn and grow. But I look at what does the value that someone I want to work with provide me upfront, and in many cases at no charge or for free. I understand that there's proprietary processes of things, but I believe in having an abundance mentality. The internet is full of so many free resources. There's plenty of how-to information out there on so many subjects. The question that I think most people are asking is, can I trust this individual to deliver and help me? Because there's so many things to do, there's so much knowledge I don't have, and I don't have the time to find it. So who can I trust to give me the most accurate knowledge and help as possible? One author resource that I have come to really enjoy and trust because of the quality of content that is put out is Kindlepreneur. And I believe that they have a tremendous amount of content, a great amount of value. They do have some paid things, but they give out so much free, and it's quality and very well done, that that's a resource I recommend for authors to look at, because they are more broad, but they provide a lot of great ideas, recommendations, and content that you can go into. And then if you do want to purchase some of their courses or take advantage of Publisher Rocket, that's a great tool to be able to use as an author. Outside of that, I don't have a lot of other strong recommendations that I would say just as a blanket statement, like, for sure, use this resource. There are a lot of great resources out there, but it all depends on the way you position things, the way you market, and the way that you connect with your customer. As an example for that, BookBub has become another great resource for authors. And I like that they break it down on what you need to do to be successful, how they break down their newsletter into the different genres and audiences. So they're already doing a lot of work for you. But ultimately, unless you put in a strong ad with a strong offer, that may not be as successful as you would like it to be. So, Jordan, thanks for this question. It's a struggle for authors to find great resources, but you may just have to go through and sift through what you believe is working based on your goals. There's a lot of individuals out there who can help, but for authors out there, find who you believe would be the best fit for you and get detailed. Thanks for the question, and thanks for listening. On next week's episode, I will be discussing the topic, how many books do successful authors actually need to sell? You may be surprised at the hidden numbers behind the books and what numbers successful authors typically have to be considered for themselves or in the industry to be considered successful. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help, jump on, rate and review, and share this episode with a friend. And remember, your book is more than just a book. Go out there and think beyond the book. Consider your entire author journey and what you want to accomplish. Don't be afraid to think big.